Hey everyone, this is Kevin the Apptrepreneur here with a special Thursday episode. This is an apology for me being super late with yesterday's video, but it is up, so go check it out. It was actually a pretty big deal. But there's a Friday episode that I also want to post, so we're going to upload an extra video today, and, consider it a bonus video because, it's not really Uber or rideshare related, but it is based on an app. So as the Apptrepreneur, I am going to discuss it a little bit. And I think this is something that a lot of Uber and Lyft and Postmates and DoorDash drivers actually deal with. And that is Netflix. Because here's the thing. What do you do when you're not driving for Uber or Postmates? Or more specifically, when you're driving for them, what do you do during the downtime? Now, for me, I always kept a paperback copy of a book I was reading underneath the seat so that I could park and read, and I would read for as long as I needed to before the next rider or delivery would come across. There's not nearly as much downtime these days, I get the sense, but that was a good way to pass time without wasting gas. That was my personal thing. But a lot of people, they watch YouTube like me, or they watch Netflix or Hulu. So I bet people here, almost everyone I would say, probably has a Netflix account. And if you had a Netflix account, you may have been one of a select number of people who were targeted for ads on the service. Netflix started testing out the ads. Now, people's reaction to it was very, very negative. They did not like having an unskippable ad. However, Netflix assured us it was a test. It wasn't rolling out soon, but of course, now we're getting more and more word that the test is really like a soft launch, and it might definitely be everywhere on the service within the next year or so. Well, according to a study, if Netflix actually does it, as in they start putting ads before they're in between their shows, before their movies, or afterwards, whatever, they could lose a quarter of their subscribers. And I'm here to tell you why that is complete bollocks, or complete humbug, or complete hooey, whatever word you have to replace for the, BS word. I'm trying to stay more family friendly these days. I got it talking to by my mother, so, I forgot my family watches this channel too. So, hey everyone in New Jersey and Sacramento. But anyway, let's look at the article real quick. It says, the advent of DVRs and streaming media has created a complicated relationship between consumers and ads, with one rather obvious commonality, I'm sorry, tongue-tied there for a second, in place. Non-skippable ads are the worst, and if Netflix chooses to pursue that path, it could be faced with serious consequences. The streaming giant has recently begun experimenting with promos for its other programming while consumers are binge-watching. When the practice began, Netflix categorized this as, quote, testing whether surfacing recommendations between episodes helps members discover stories they will enjoy faster. But the implication was clear. Your pleasant rewatch of BoJack Horseman might be interrupted by a reminder that the far less pleasant Insatiable exists. Oh, and by the way, folks, if there's not a video on Friday and if there's not a live stream on Saturday, it's because I'm binge watching BoJack Horseman Season 5. Write that down. BoJack is amazing. I love that show. Although if you haven't seen it, I'm going to give you a heads up. First 6 episodes truly, truly suck. Give it the full first season. If you don't like it, you can stop, but I'm pretty sure you'll be happy. But continuing. In the event that this is the first step to more frequent intrusions, this could lead people to dropping their Netflix subscriptions, according to a recent study by Hub. Approximately 1,612 U.S. viewers between the ages of 16 and 74 were surveyed by the organization and asked what they would do if Netflix added ads. Specifically, 23% of those surveys said they'd unsubscribe, with 41% saying they definitely or probably keep their subscription, and 37% undecided. Now, of course, we need to point out the obvious with any of these surveys. It's always a select group of people. It's never representative of the vast majority. This is only like less than a couple thousand people, not even close to the 12 million subscribers Netflix has. But they're thinking like, well, these are the groups of people that we, gathered. We've asked them this question. This is what they said. Here's the other thing to keep in mind, though. They're saying that they would unsubscribe, but saying and actually doing are two very, very different things. Why do you think MoviePass still has over 3 million subscribers despite all the negative publicity they've gone through? Or how many subscribers AT&T still has despite pretty much 95% of the people acknowledging that their service sucks? So, continuing. To be clear, this was under the condition that Netflix pricing remained the same despite the addition of ads. If subscription rates were hypothetically lowered by $3 a month, the Hub survey found only 16% would cancel their subscriptions and 50% would definitely or probably stay on board. Well, of course, it's always easy to put up with a few ads if it's going to be a little cheaper, but if Netflix hypothetically did this, they would just raise the rates at some point anyway. They always do that, but, continuing. In the release accompanying the survey, Hub principal and study co-author Peter Fondula said, that when we asked the subscribers what they consider to be the most attractive features on Netflix, the fact that it's ad-free consistently ranks towards the top of the list. Really? That's the number one? For the moment, that remains a key distinguishing characteristic of the service, especially as other OTT providers attempt to compete with high-quality original shows of their own. I'm just going to say it right now. I think the reason Netflix is number one, the number one thing people most like is the content. They like the shows. They like what's on there. And granted, this does put Netflix in a weird position because if you want to understand just how important things are on Netflix to people, that's why they have these what's coming and going lists on Netflix at the end of every month where they list, okay, here's what's going, here's what's coming, to give people a chance to watch what they want to watch before, or also maybe to prepare for an alternative way to watch that show. Boy, I remember, I don't know if it's back on there yet, I've since bought the DVD so it doesn't care, but I remember when Hey Arnold and a lot of Nickelodeon shows like SpongeBob SquarePants were no longer on the service, or South Park left, oh boy, people raised hell. But that's just life. And Netflix could be in that little situation because Disney's deal's expiring, so all those Disney movies, they're going to go. That's why Netflix is greenlighting so much productions. They want to have as much of their own content on there as possible so that they can stream it for pennies on the dollar. And that said, let's put this a hypothetical. Let's do a hypothetical. Let's say ads are here full-time next year. What do you think is going to affect someone's decision to keep their subscription more? The fact that there are no ads, or the fact that Orange is the New Black Season 7 is out, or Season 8, I forget which season they're on. Let me tell you, people would rather watch a show like that and pay $10 than stubbornly cancel and not enjoy that show for no ads whatsoever. That's my opinion. But anyway, continuing. And, let you know, they're going to make one of my big arguments for them. Hulu, of course, offers both ad-free and limited ad experiences at different price points, and if you're signed up at the ad-free rate, the experience is exactly that. Meanwhile, no matter what you pay, Amazon Prime does sometimes include interstitial ads for its programming lineup, and from personal experience, it's pretty weird to get blasted with an NFL commercial while binging your way through The Man in the High Castle. In general, it speaks to a basic truth about the way consumers relate to these services. When it's free, ads are an unavoidable inconvenience, but if users are already paying money to watch, then they should be avoidable. Okay, and that's the argument that I'm going to be talking about and kind of the main thing. Now let's go back up to this picture of the kids watching Netflix instead of, reading or going outside or whatever. So here's the thing. I know people are upset at the idea of ads on Netflix. Like, they like that. Admittingly, it's nice. It's nice to not have ads interrupt House of Cards or Daredevil or Insatiable, I think that's what it's called, BoJack Horseman. I love me watching BoJack Horseman without ads. That said, I actually knew this was coming. I was telling people for years this was coming. Heck, I was saying this was coming like 3 months after streaming had launched. People didn't believe me. I'm amazed that it held off this long, but here we are. And here's the thing, folks. Netflix doesn't make money on streaming. Right now, their DVD rental service is technically keeping them afloat because streaming loses money. Especially the more people someone streams, the more they lose money. It's just that simple. More bandwidth you use, the more it costs the studio money. Or not studio. Well, Netflix is a studio, I guess. We'll just call them the company. The more Netflix loses money, the more you stream. This was always an unavoidable fact of life that it was coming. And if you want a precedent, I introduce you to cable TV. Cable TV is not something that's been around for like decades upon decades. It premiered, I think, in the late 80s, early 90s, something like that. It's fairly recent, all things considering, when you consider how we consume our shows. And when it premiered, people were up in arms like, why are you going to make me pay for TV? Why are you going to make me pay for it? I have TV, it's free, why am I going to pay for it? And they got up and they said, because it's ad free. No commercials. And so for several years, there was no commercials on cable, and people were selling it on that point. At some point, though, because keep in mind, cable started, it was just all these channels with old shows on it, like classic shows and all Cartoon Network. You know, you had a channel where all Disney stuff would show up. It was just old stuff, but it's stuff that wasn't on the air for years, and we didn't have DVDs back then. So you were paying to watch old favorites without commercials. But then at one point, cable companies started making their own original shows. And soon, you had to have cable to watch those shows. And once you had those certifiable hits, then it's like, well, we'll put a few ads there and it won't harm anyone. And they put a few, but they assured everything else would be ad-free. And then at one point, advertising became just as integral to cable as it was for the basic broadcast TV, and people still pay for it. Heck, people still pay for it, even though streaming is way more convenient, way better in many aspects, and has way more to watch of what you want to watch. And you don't have to even wait for it to be on. You want to watch something you want to watch, you just select it. That's it. So when you're telling me that people are going to cancel their Netflix, get rid of all of these shows that they really, really love watching, and all this convenience just because there's going to be ads, no, they're not going to do that. They will still happily pay the $10. In fact, you want to know another reason why I know it's true? Hulu. Hulu is, by definition, something you pay for with ads. Now, granted, there is a free version of Hulu where if you watch it on your monitor or on a tablet, you don't have to pay for it. But you want to stream it through the Xbox, you want to stream it through your PS4, you want to stream it on your smart TV, you got to pay money, and it has ads. Then if you want to get rid of the ads, you got to pay more money to get rid of them. So there might be an option, Netflix might have an option where people pay more to get rid of the ads, but at some point, that will go away and ads will be an integral part. And for people who say, well, I don't want to watch certain shows that I love to watch over and over with ads, well, maybe that's why you buy them on Blu-ray or you buy your own digital copy. And there's still some revenue for Netflix on that end. Ads will not be the end of Netflix. Heck, I doubt 5% of people would cancel their Netflix subscription if ads showed up. I think you'll have a few people huff and puff, and after they huff and puff and they don't blow the house down, they'll get used to it. They'll go back in the house because, you know, it's a lot cooler in the house with the fireplace and the Game Boy. So that's my opinion. But of course, what's your opinion? Do you have Netflix? Would you for sure cancel if Netflix had ads? Are you one of those people who had the ad test run? What did you think of it? I would love to know. So comment below, like, favorite, share, subscribe. If you enjoy our videos, consider becoming a Patreon member. It's totally optional, of course, but even as little as $1 a day, or $1 a month, goes a long way to helping the channel run smoothly. As always, flame responsibly. Have a good one.